Here to discuss this is candidate for Pennsylvania's first congressional district, Mark Houck. Mark, my brother, thank you so much for joining me this evening. What do you get of this? As far as all the criminals, all the crime that the DOJ has let off, has basically overlooked, they just kind of let criminals skate. The progressive DAs are just letting criminals out left and right. But if you're a parent trying to stand up for your child in school and want to make sure that the books they're reading aren't pornographic, or if you're an 87-year-old woman that's singing hymns in in front of an abortion clinic, well, we're going to throw you in jail for 6 months. What's going on?
Well, look, it's a travesty what they're doing to Ava. And, here's a woman who spent the beginning of her life in a totalitarian regime. And now she came to America, and now her homeland, her asylum is now persecuting her in a similar way. I dealt with that myself, facing 11 years in prison with the DOJ coming after me, putting M16 guns at my children in a pre-dawn raid. David, you are in a dictatorship when they wake sleeping children in the middle of the night and arrest their father at gunpoint. What they're doing to Ava is just another continuation of this weaponized DOJ, the two-tiered Department of Injustice, and we have to do something about it. It's one of the reasons why I'm running for Congress in Pennsylvania's district.
Well, you know what? Running for Congress is something that I think so many more level-headed, common sense-driven Americans, patriots, need to do. I love hearing that. But let's dive into yours a little bit, and we'll go back to Ava. So you were arrested at gunpoint. Biden's DOJ. This was at what time in the morning? 5 or 6 in the morning. They kind of woke you up, busted in your door, and got you at gunpoint.
That's right. 20-plus federal agents and PA state troopers at around 6:30 in the morning, September 23rd, 2022, came and banged on the door and said they're taking me without a warrant, with or without a warrant. And so this is when when they're violating the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment. This is why we're suing the DOJ, why we're suing the government, because of this the irrational, nonsensical, tyrannical behavior that victimized my children, that my children still to this day suffer from PTSD. How can you not when
How old are your kids?
Pointing to you? The age 4 up to 15 now, but when the raid took place, it was 2 to 13, 7 children.
Absolutely traumatic, with or without a warrant, traumatize your children, your wife, yourself. And what was your crime, Mark?
Yeah, I was doing exactly what Ava was doing. I was praying with my son in front of Planned Parenthood in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, peacefully, and just doing it for 20 years. And all of a sudden, after Dobbs overturns Roe, all of a sudden now all these pro-life people are domestic terrorists, and Ava is on that list.
Absolutely insane. I mean, to think that she fled communism, she survived, right? She survived the Holocaust. She fled the absolute communist regime of Hitler and his goal to eradicate the Jewish people, comes to America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and then gets thrown in jail for singing. What has America come to? I really hope people are sharing this. I really hope that people are paying attention, because when you have a dictator that is the commander-in-chief, he is on paper, and he is he's weaponizing the DOJ against individuals like you, Mark, and Ava. What is that? What won't a person like that do? I think we've seen throughout history what other dictators were willing to do to get their opposition completely out of the way and maintain their complete dominant dictatorship, tyrannical control. What am I missing something here, or is that pretty much what it looks like is taking place, and what would continue to take place if Joe Biden stayed in office for another 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, this is a bittersweet irony for us. We have a congressman that's in my district, first PA 01, who's saying we need to protect our borders in Taiwan and Japan and prevent them from having tyrannical, totalitarian regimes come into those states. And now here we are in our clear and present danger, not only with our border problem, but people like Ava and our own government tyrannically coming after its own people. For the first time, David, in 247 years, the government has been weaponized against its own people. This has never happened before. That makes this election probably the most important election of all time.
Mark, since you've just been victimized, I'm going to call it what I think it is. I think you're a victim of a sledgehammer slinging Department of Justice for something that, again, they didn't even have a warrant, and they victimized, traumatized your whole family, including your kids. Let me ask you, if for some reason Joe Biden was to stay in office another 4 years, what do you think Americans should expect, having already been succumbed to being underneath his finger and at the end of those M16s?
Yeah, we're going to lose our republic if that happens. We are on the brink of losing our republic. The guy that I'm challenging in PA01, Brian Fitzpatrick, is the only former FBI agent in Congress. Okay, he said nothing, he did nothing. He votes with Joe Biden 80% of the time. He is part of the problem. He is part of the weaponization of the government. He wants to take our guns. The reason why we have the Second Amendment, David, is so that we can prevent tyrannical leaders like King George from coming and taking over again. And that's exactly why we are in such danger of losing this republic. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this. On the flip side of it, if President Trump was to get in office and actually be able to, you know, I love President Trump. I was championing for him, you know, in 2016. I was championing for him all the way through his first term. I was then on Blacks for Trump, the campaign in 2020, prior to 2020. And I definitely believe that he would be and will be the saving grace for this nation. Now, I'm not saying he's the savior, and he's even said that before. There's only one savior of mankind. But for America, I believe he's the leader that God has appointed and elected, and then we have to do our part to elect him and get him back in office. If he's to get in office and able to actually drain the swamp, do you think we'd be seeing that Americans should have to worry about literally not living in a constitutional republic anymore?
Yeah, that's exactly right. If he gets in, or I should say when he gets in, we're going to get rid of the attorney general, the existing attorney general. He'll be fired. We will hopefully defund the Department of Justice and liquidate that organization, which does not fulfill its purpose anymore. And I will do everything I can as a congressman to support that agenda and support Donald Trump. He's got my support. I keep telling people, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And everybody in this country shakes their head. No, we're not better off. We need to vote for Donald Trump. We need to get Joe Biden and his agenda and all those that support him, including the congressman that I'm challenging, out of DC.
So who's your opponent? Who are you trying to oust up there in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, that's right. First District, PA, Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. He's been in for 4 terms. He's the only former FBI agent. And like I said, he said nothing. He did nothing. He did not condemn the DOJ after the injustice that was put upon me as his own constituent, and allowed the government to destroy and take the innocence of my children within an instant with the heavy raid that was unnecessary and uncalled for. And of course, we were acquitted in less than an hour, a jury of our peers. And so it's clear that to me that he's part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you 100%. Somebody that's not willing to stand up for his own constituents in the face of absolute injustice, he's got to go. So, Mark, Houck, God bless you, brother. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I pray that you do take that seat, and I believe that you'll help make that part of America great again. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, David. God bless you. Take care.